The Bengals are down horrendously right now, and it's not a very fun time to be a fan. But there was one narrative about this team from outside voices that doesn't seem to be holding a lot of weight anymore. So in this video, let's officially put it to bed. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and Monday night's game against the Denver Broncos was an opportunity for not only the Cincinnati Bengals as a whole, but for Jake Browning to prove himself. Because a backup quarterback, of course, can never stop proving himself as a quarterback in this league until he's established as a starter. It was a chance for Browning to bounce back after one of the worst games of his career and to play adequate, winnable football as the quarterback of the Bengals. And he couldn't do that. He couldn't do anything close to that. Sure, he didn't turn the ball over like he did in his previous two games, but he didn't make a positive impact throwing down the field. His accuracy was erratic. His pocket presence was erratic. The kind of quarterback play that he exhibited in Denver is not conducive to winning football games against competitive teams like the Broncos and even non-competitive teams. The Bengals do not look like a serious team with Jake Browning at quarterback, and this goes against what a lot of people were saying when Jake Browning first took over back in 2023. There was a time when the football world thought that the Bengals were actually better on offense with Jake Browning at quarterback as opposed to Joe Burrow. There was a time in which people really did believe that Burrow was being carried by the offensive infrastructure, the weapons around him, the play calling. He was carried by a system that allowed Jake Browning to be successful for a 3-week stretch. People legitimately questioned Burrow's ability, his talent, and his value to the Bengals offense because of the existence of Jake Browning. Like most things, there are hints of truth to that narrative, but obviously, for the most part, it was complete BS. When you watch Jake Browning play football, what does he do similar to that of Joe Burrow? What does he do at the same level as Joe Burrow? While Burrow sometimes gets flack for his less than ideal arm talent, what exactly does Browning bring to the table in that regard? When Burrow plays at his best, the Bengals can compete against any defense that they go up against. Browning has had 2 chances against 2 quality defenses, and he's crapped the bed both times. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yosevich, Mike Gesicki, Chase Brown, they're all there. They're all healthy. They're desperate for the ball in their hands, and Jake Browning can't get it to them. How are these weapons supposed to carry one quarterback on the team when they can't carry another? What happens when opposing pass rushes attack him and play him like they were playing against Burrow? Nothing good, obviously. The pocket evasiveness, the ability to create out of structure, that's not there with Browning like it is with Burrow. This is not to excuse Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher and the other architects of this offense, as they should be able to get more results out of Browning, but to ever think for a second that anything aside from Burrow was carrying this offense to at least mediocrity was ludicrous. People have asked Burrow many a time what he thinks makes a good quarterback, and he had a really good answer on this back in July. Quote, "I think consistency is what it is at the end of the day. Anyone can go out and do it for a game, a couple games, 4 games, 5 games, but can you do it for 17 games? Can you do it for years and years in a row? I think that's ultimately what separates the great ones from the good ones." Now, Browning can go out next week against the Detroit Lions and look better, right? He can make the Bengals competitive. But do you trust him to be consistent in the way that Burrow has proven to be consistent for the last 6 years? Do you trust him to show up against quality defenses and not throw the game away? Do you trust him to do the little things that Burrow does so well and is now so very clearly valuable to this offense? You shouldn't. Obviously, the Bengals cannot go forth and act like a playoff team with the current version of Jake Browning at quarterback. There needs to be a real discussion about where they go from here, knowing that Burrow cannot return until December at the earliest. And this discussion would not be necessary if Jake Browning was anything remotely close to being as capable as Joe Burrow is. So let's finally put that to bed. Jake Browning is inconsistent at best, and this team desperately needs Joe Burrow to carry it.